Welcome. What's going on, YouTube? It's been a long time since I've done a live stream, so I figure I'd do one today. We'll go around the interweb, see what's going on. Hold on, let me get my stuff set up here. We'll check out headlines. We'll check out some news that I've been looking at and gathering over the day. There was a lot of articles today that I found very interesting. That's another reason why I wanted to go live. It's like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now around the world. Make sure my stuff is up and good to go. Then we can jump into this. Give me a second. Like I said, it's been a while since I've gone live. We're up on YouTube. Let me make sure we're up over there on Kick. Hold on a second. Let me check my Kick really quick. Make sure we're up over there. Yep, we're up over at Kick too. Okay, so everything's working good. Like I said, it's been a long time since I went live. So just making sure everything still works. Everything looks good. Okay. All right. So like I said, I got a lot of stories bookmarked today. We'll get into that. We'll also get into some headlines too. So let's start off with the first one. But before we get started, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Get this information out there. I just like putting out the news. Just ask that you share. I'm not really asking for a lot of money, although I do have like a Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. That's only like $2 a month, but I put some great information out there on a monthly basis, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos sometimes a month. So check that out. I'm not like Umar Johnson begging y'all for money or anything like that. I just do this stuff because I like to get the information out there, not because I'm trying to make money off of this stuff really. So yeah, leave that out there. Let's see. Hold on one second. Like I said, I'm still getting stuff, making sure everything's up and running. Then we can dive right in. Hold on a second here. All right. Like I said, sorry, y'all. It's been a while since I have gone live. All right. So let's check out this Gateway Pundit. I got a bunch of articles and stuff already lined up, but I just seeing this here. Chuck Todd is not happy that people are platforming unhinged Hunter Biden. He says he's not helpful to the Democrat Party. I saw that earlier today too. So, but let's go ahead and let's check it out. Chuck Todd. Now this is from the Gateway Pundit. They report former NBC News employee Chuck Todd said during a recent episode of his podcast that he is not happy that people keep platforming Hunter Biden, noting that it isn't helpful to the Democratic Party. Doesn't that admission really say it all? Yes, it does. He's literally a crackhead. He is a literal crackhead, the right-hand man, really, of Joe Biden, the ex-president of the United States. Like, this is crazy. Like, he had the president's ear. A lot of the woke stuff that Biden was pushing and stuff, come to find out, it came from Biden. I mean, it came from Hunter, sorry. Hunter went viral this week due to a couple of podcast interviews he did in which he absolutely trashed multiple major Democratic figures and various people in news media, including Chuck Todd, while dropping a ton of F-bombs along the way. The interviews reflected poorly on Hunter, the Biden family, and the people he was criticizing in the process. Many people on the right found the whole thing hilarious. Chuck Todd and his liberal media friends did not see the humor. Let's see. We got the clip here. Here we go.
I will never book Hunter Biden. I have no interest in what he has to say. for a couple reasons. Number one, he's not the candidate. He wasn't on the ballot. Anything he says in defense of his father, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it doesn't matter. He's a son defending his father. And my guess is he's going to defend him to the hilt. So I just kind of think, I take every one of his pieces of anger and criticism, and I just sort of chalk it up to, yeah, he's defending his dad and he loves his dad. I have a real problem with the folks that are booking him. If you've chosen to book Hunter Biden, you've chosen to book spectacle. Mm-hmm. You're not interested in, and the two interviews that have gone viral were both designed to get attention, not to surface new facts, not to give you a better understanding of what may have happened. It was just, let's give him a platform to settle some scores that maybe he wants to settle. I don't think this does Hunter Biden any good. I don't think this does Joe Biden any good. It certainly doesn't do the Democratic Party any good. That's why it's surprising to see the former DNC chair start a podcast and decide that the best way to market it is Hunter Biden. But, it's a choice who you book. I make choices. Everybody makes choices. It's a choice who you book. If you're putting Hunter Biden on, you know what you're doing. Look, I think there's a lot of things going on there. I don't like it when politicians use the media or campaigns or voters for their own therapy. I think people should use therapy when they need it.
He has a point.
I have in the past. It's been very helpful to many members of my family. I'm a huge advocate of it. But let's not do it in public.
I agree.
Try to deal with your issues amongst yourself. And this is why I was critical of, ultimately why I was critical of Joe and Joe Biden for running in the first place, because their family wasn't ready for this.
I actually agree with Chuck Todd about the whole, he's basically getting out his frustration and stuff, the therapy, the catharsis. He's displaying that to the public, which is not really cool. That's something you really need to do inside a therapist's office, y'all know I'm a licensed therapist in a few states, not advertising or anything, just stating the facts. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about pertaining to that. But Hunter does seem to be on a sort of revenge tour. Isn't it funny that Chuck Todd thinks this is a problem? It's funny, it's sad all at the same time. Like it's wild what's happening right now. Wow. All right. Colbert sees viewership surge after cancellation news, but still getting clobbered in ratings by Greg Gutfeld. Okay. Let's see. Let's check out one of the articles I had. I got here. Let's go with this one. All right. We'll come back and look at some more of the headlines. Trump torches Democrats for Kamala campaign debt. They should all be prosecuted. I mean, if you think about it, it's wild that they got away with this. Like, how do you take $1.2 billion, $1.2 billion, and poof, is gone. And not only is it gone, but you're still in debt. You still owe money. Like, how is that okay? How is that okay? But let's go over this article from the Gateway Pundit. President Trump took the Truth Social to torch Democrats from the staggering debt that exists following Kamala Harris's failed presidential campaign. She can't even run a campaign. What do you think? How you think? Well, how can I say this statement? I'm sorry, I'm smoking a little bit, y'all. It's late night. I'm smoking. So when y'all see me go off camera, I'm off camera. I'm smoking the so-called devil's leaf. But I don't like doing that on camera. But anyway, so I'm a little inebriated. But anyway, Um, Imagine what she would do to the country. She would have done to the country. She can't even run a freaking campaign. She would have ran our country into the ground. But the Gateway Pundit reported that despite the Harris campaign raising an eye-popping $1 billion over the summer and into the fall before the 2024 election, they ended their loss at least $20 million in debt. Again, how do you take $1.2 billion to run a campaign and still end up $20 million in debt? That is incredible. The Harris campaign reportedly paid billionaire Oprah Winfrey $1 million for hosting a town hall and one public endorsement at a rally in Pennsylvania. And Oprah said, "Oh, I didn't take any of that money. That was just the cost to run the production." Are you serious? So it takes $1 million to do an interview? Where they do that at? I guess when you're dealing with Oprah Winfrey. A further $20 million was spent on concerts in 7 swing states featuring the likes of Bon Jovi in Detroit, Christina Aguilera in Las Vegas, Katy Perry in Pittsburgh, Lady Gaga in Philadelphia, and a 2 Chainz performance at a rally in Atlanta. I love 2 Chainz. He's like hands down one of my top 5 favorite rappers right now. His lyricism, he's underrated when it comes to that. So I love 2 Chainz, but I mean, come on, man. You think 2 Chainz is gonna get people to really come out and vote? Really? Come on, man. In the days following the election, Trump even joked about paying off Camilla's debt. I remember this. I remember when he posted this. He said, "I am surprised that the Democrats who fought a hard and valiant fight in the 2020 presidential election, raising a record amount of money, didn't have lots of money left over. Now they are being squeezed by vendors and others. Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we as a party, and for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over that our biggest assets in the campaign was earned media, and that didn't cost very much. Make America great again." That's true. She didn't really have to spend that money. She refused to go on real interviews, real podcasts, because she was afraid of the real questions that people wanted to ask her. So she would pay people to throw these softball questions at her. And even at that, she didn't do well. I mean, remember on The View, she was on The View, and they asked her, what would you do different than Biden? And she couldn't even answer that simple question. I mean, terrible candidate. Now, President Trump has taken a more serious tone and is pointing out potentially illegal transactions. He said, quote, "I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election," he wrote on Truth Social. "And the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang not one note and left the stage to a booing and angry audience." Like, I don't know. And $3 million for expenses to Oprah. 3, I thought it was 1. Anyway, $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor Al Sharpton, a total lightweight, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break loose. Camilla and all those that receive endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That is true. I mean, they literally pay for endorsements and try to pretend like they didn't. It was an endorsement. They were handing out bags. The Democratic Party was handing out bags. Everyone knows that. And a lot of people took that bag. A lot of people showed their true colors. They showed that they could be bought. Wow. All right, let's check out another article here. We got another article from the Gateway Pundit. I've been reading. I've read a lot of Gateway Pundit articles today. Fox News' Sandra Smith embarrasses former Kamala Harris advisor with a simple question after he tries to trash President Trump's stellar economic performance. It's kind of like that post. I think I did a video on it yesterday that the Democratic Party posted by accident. They had some people that was not intelligent to read the actual chart that they were like Trump's economy or something like that, and become to find out the terrible inflation happened, of course, during the Biden period under that graph, and they went and deleted it. That's kind of like what happened here. Like he's talking about the economy when the economy is doing a lot better under Trump than it did under Biden. Like it's crazy. But a former advisor to Kamala Harris was utterly humiliated this week after trying to scam America regarding President Trump's economic record. As the Daily Mail reported, Mike Nellis, who once served as a senior advisor to Harris, appeared on Fox News on Friday to discuss the latest economic data. As TGB readers know, the economy is roaring, low employment, big job numbers, and a thankfully declining inflation rate. Hold on a second. Nothing. I'm sorry. I was looking at my messages. Like this is it's someone trying to sell growth or whatever on Kick. Anyway, sorry. I thought it was a legitimate message. Anyway, during the discussion, Nellis decided to play loose with the facts by whining about Trump, claiming he has crushed inflation and claiming the rate is going in the opposite direction. We all know inflation has slowed. It's lower than it was last year. Gas prices have gone down, all this stuff, man. But they lying and saying that none of this stuff is happening. But let's listen to this really quick. Here we go.
We need to get back to basics on how we're going to deal with inflation and other issues and telling it in a much more simple way, talking about our accomplishments. But look, it isn't going to get fixed overnight. And right now, the president of the United States is Donald Trump. Republicans are in control of Congress. They're currently in recess rather than doing anything about inflation. Donald Trump was in front of the White House today claiming that he's crushed inflation, which is objectively false. If you were celebrating over the 4th of July right now, you had record beef prices,
do you know what
record
the inflation rate
prices.
is?
Yeah, it's like about 3-4%.
No, it's not.
It's below 3.
It's like 2.7.
It's been a long time since it's gotten there. I mean, you're looking at 2.5% inflation now.
Donald Trump promised to make grocery prices go down on day one.
You hear him say it's not true, though? It is. The inflation is down, man. What are you talking about? It's under 3% for the first time in 4 years since Biden was in office. I don't think Biden ever got inflation under 3%. So what are you talking about right now, man? This is what happens when you have these pundits on there. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, you can Google it really quick, and a quick Google can tell you what inflation was. What an idiot.
Make housing prices go down on day one. We're 6 months in.
Prices have definitely come down.
They
can go down more. I'll give you that.
They haven't come down. Inflation's still going up, and it's rising according to the latest stats.
Yeah. It's just not. That's not the case. Inflation has come down. Inflation, by nature, is growth in prices, but the growth is.
I mean, here's the thing. You want to talk about where the Democratic Party's gone wrong? Is that we spent the last couple of years telling people that the economy was good when it wasn't.
All right. So how do you solve inflation?
What's the same mistake?
What's the Democrat pitch?
Well, right now we're going to have to work with companies to try to get these prices down. And the first thing that I would do is stop this idiotic tariff war that's driving all the prices up.
Matt,
they had 4 years. Remember, they have.
Tariffs have not affected the prices yet. We're still waiting on it. They keep promising that stuff is going to get out of hand. Prices are going to go up because of tariffs. And we really haven't seen that yet.
4 years, okay? Donald Trump has been president since the dawn of time. They had 4 years. They called it transitory. They didn't give a darn about it. They totally denied reality for 4 years. And actually, if you don't believe me, Democrats got embarrassed yesterday on X because they posted a chart that showed how low inflation was during the Trump years and how it skyrocketed during the Biden years. And they thought it was some sort of proof point. Again, they had 4 years to get
keep in mind is that there was a global inflationary crisis.
And finally, here we go.
It was a global inflationary crisis. It happened all over the world. So that had nothing to do with Biden and his policies. His policies wasn't the one that caused the inflation. Do you see the games they play? Wow.
Again,
Democrats didn't do enough to address it, but it's worse now than it was when Donald Trump took over 6 months ago.
And here you go. And now it's our turn.
You're not going to be able to gaslight the American people into believing that the economy is strong when it isn't.
All right. We'll let everybody go do their homework.
You did it for 4 years.
Okay.
We'll let everybody go do their homework. Oh, my gosh. Smith is right. The current inflation rate is about 2.67 percent. Like I said, 2.7. We just call it, we round up, we'll just say 2.7. A decline from 2.97 last year. Okay, so we round that up to 3. This is what I'm saying. He really never really got, technically, he got under 3%, 2.97. Biden technically got under 3%, but not really. 2.97, that's considered 3. Now let's further humiliate himself by claiming prices were skyrocketing while Smith smirked and corrected him again. With advisors like this, it's no wonder Harris has performed so poorly throughout her presidential campaign. That's right. Like, you can't even get the stats right. At least have the numbers right, because it's not like, I mean, you got to understand in today and age, people got Chat GPT, you got Grok, you got all these AI stuff. We can literally we can fact check you in real time, man. We got people remember these numbers. People know stats now because they're all online. We all see the memes. We all see the reports now. So you can't lie about the numbers. He just sat there and was like, inflation is up when it's actually down. He said, and then he tried to say that, the reason why inflation was so high under Biden is because the whole it was a global thing. Like, this is going to be the excuse now for how terrible Biden's economy was. Well, it was a global thing. We got no control over that. That's the new talking point now. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Let's check out this one. Let's go here. Here we go. All right. It's from the Federalists. This is kind of a long one. I don't know if I really want to get into this right now. This is kind of a long thing. I actually wrote an article on from the very start of the Russian hoax until today, with all the intel we got today and stuff. Maybe I'll save this one for later. We'll come to this one later. I don't know if I want to go that deep. You know, I've been smoking a little bit, so I might not be able to. My memory might not be working too well enough to go over to really deep dive into that one. So maybe I'll save that one for another time. Let's see what else we got. This is an interesting story here. Old Karen Bass. Yeah, let's check this one out. All right. LA Mayor Karen Bass hired CCP Intel Link bankers to transition team after they bankrolled her campaign. I told y'all. Didn't I tell y'all she was bought and paid for by the Chinese Communist Party? Isn't that what I said? She is a communist. And look at how her communist policies have destroyed LA. Like, people still haven't built anything from the fire yet. Like, it is crazy. They regulating them to death. They can't build anything in Los Angeles. But Los Angeles Mayor, and this is from the Post Millennial, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass appointed 2 Chinese intelligence linked bankers to her mayoral transition advisory team after they helped fundraise for her political campaigns and a nonprofit she oversees, according to a report by the Daily Caller. The individuals, Dominic, I can't even say that name on NG. What is that? Anyway, CEO of East West Bank, and Simon Pang, co-founder of Royal Business Bank, were both selected to serve on Bass's transition team in 2022. The two men reportedly donated over $1 million combined to Bass's mayoral campaign and the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles, a nonprofit where Bass serves as an advisor to the board directors. They have both been linked to the Chinese Communist Party's United Front Work Department, UFWD, a foreign influence and intelligence arm of the CCP. Per the Caller, a spokesperson for East West Bank acknowledged that Ling had previously participated in 2 Chinese government organizations, but denied his involvement in a third that also listed him as a member. So he was listed as a member, so why is he denying it? The Canadian investigative journalist Sam Cooper, author of Willful Blindness, How a Network of Narcos, Tycoons, and CCP Agents Infiltrated the West, described the appointments as a huge red flag. Quote, when donors connected to United Front groups have significant wealth and show up constantly around politicians, they're there for a reason, Cooper told the Daily Caller. The outlet further reported that Pang had contributed up to $33,000 to Bass's congressional and mayoral campaign, as well as the mayor's fund. That includes $3,800 to her congressional campaign between 2019 and 2020, and $4,700 to her mayoral campaign since 2021, according to records from the Federal Election Commission and Los Angeles Ethics Commission. Pang also reportedly served in several roles connected to the Chinese government, including as a Southern California coordinator for the Chinese People Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries, an entity identified by U.S. officials as affiliated with the United Front. Again, ties back to the CCP. East West Bank and Wing, however you pronounce his name, have given Bass and the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles over $1 million. Ing contributed $1,500 to her mayoral campaign in 2022, which the East West Bank Foundation has donated an amount between $100,000 and $999 to the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles during this current reported period. A spokesperson for the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles said the contributions assisted Bass's mission to end homelessness. Well, it ain't in yet. It's just as bad today as it was when she received that money. It's in fact even worse today. This is all a scam, man. I don't understand how people sit around and allow their politicians to continue to scam them like this. This is crazy to me. It's like the church and church said, you need to give me more money to build the the new church, and you get all that money, you don't get a doorknob built. You know what I'm saying? Like scammers, man, and like Umar Johnson, another scammer. I don't understand how people. I'm not saying like it's. I don't understand why people know they're getting scammed and continue to deal with them. Like they know, like you have to know by now that Umar Johnson is a scammer. You have to know by now that Mayor Bass is a scammer. Like, and you continue to donate, you continue to work with these individuals, knowing you're being willful idiots. I don't understand it. And now Los Angeles has burned to the ground, and they haven't built not one doorknob like the church. They haven't built not one freaking doorknob. It's crazy to me. The Bass administration ties to individuals with the CCP affiliations have drawn increased scrutiny following a June 2025 investigation, which found that Bass appointed the son of a Democratic fundraiser and known CCP, here we go, official, more CCP, as the city's liaison for Asian American affairs and director of commission appointments. How no one thinks this is suspicious? All these Chinese communist people they got working with her. I mean, you walk like a Chinese communist, you talk like a Chinese communist, and you have to be a Chinese communist, right? Los Angeles is now a wide open city for Chinese communists, said China expert Gordon Chang, author of Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Angelenos can thank the CCP sympathizer-in-chief Karen Bass. Karen Bass resists federal agents and welcome China's communists. That is a great point. God forbid the federal government come in there trying to pick up some illegal criminals, but she got no problem with CCP, working hand in hand with the CCP. It's very clear where her sympathies lie, he added. I agree. Wow. Crazy article there. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, let's get to this one. Now, I almost wanted to do this story for Patreon because this is kind of spicy. This is a little bit too spicy for YouTube. So I'm just going to withhold my comments. I'm going to withhold my comments on this just to keep it YouTube friendly. But y'all can listen to this interview for yourself and try to deduce what's going on here. But Peter Horowitz panics after heavily vaxxed caller reveals worst experience ever post booster. Now, again, there's a lot of things I can say about this that's going to happen here, but we got to keep it YouTube friendly. So, but I'm just going to play it. I'll let y'all come to your own conclusions. Here we go.
I have taken Pfizer boosters regularly, and a few weeks ago, since I'd gotten one of those, you are of a certain age and you should get another booster, after I went and had a COVID test because I'd been around so many people, and it was negative, I went ahead and had the booster. I will tell you, it was the worst experience I've ever had.
When you say worst experience, what do you mean?
Well, I'm going to go through my symptoms.
Okay, bring them to us quickly.
30-minute show here.
Yeah. We won't go through that because I wrote them down so I could tell you. And really bad cough with deep phlegm. I was sleepy. I was sleeping 16 hours a day. I was so tired.
Now, when did you have your COVID?
I've never had COVID.
So the doctor couldn't hear you the beginning of your question. Let me just recap it. That she got the Pfizer booster a few weeks ago. She thought she may have had COVID. She took a test. She was negative, so she ended up getting a booster.
And then had
and then how long after you got the booster did you have your symptoms?
2 days.
So
2 days after that.
You know, now one possibility, unfortunately, is it can take a couple of weeks for the booster to kick in. So what possibly could have happened is in between the time you got the booster and the immune response kicks in, you could have gotten some intercurrent viral infection, such as COVID or flu or a gazillion other things. So sometimes it's hard to know what's ascribed to a side effect of the vaccine versus some other intercurrent illness.
And let's talk about that. I want to thank you, Carol, for your call, but let's talk about those side effects.
Let's get her off really quick. Oh, man, that is diabolical. So, I guess it's just a coincidence that she got the thing. She thought she might have had something, or no, she was around people that had the bug. So she went to get tested and she was negative, so she got boosted. And then she just happened to get all of these symptoms after that. Maybe like the good doctor said, it was just, something. Unfortunately, it just you got sick before it could do its job, right? No, nothing to see here, right? Just like the good doctor said. Check out my Patreon where I go over studies and talk about that a little bit more intimately. So yeah, we'll go with the good doctor on that. Okay, let's do some culture war. Let's talk about some culture war stuff here. Very interesting article here from America First. Hold on. Let me lefties, illegals, and minorities are finally experiencing consequence culture. Now, this is from America First Report. Travel back in time to the year 2021, and you might find yourself in the middle of a bizarre debate over virtues of cancel culture. Remember, they used to say like that really didn't exist. Remember when leftists were saying, "Oh, there's no cancel culture. You're making this stuff up. No one is censoring or canceling or getting rid of your ideals." Remember when they were saying that? At the time, the political left was aggressively trying to secure long-term power within the U.S. through multi-pronged psychological offensive, a war on the mind of the masses designed to force Americans into submission. And there was a lot of people that was just going along to get along, right? A big part of the strategy rallied on the fundamentals of cultural Marxism, the combination of Marxist mob tactics, artificial consensus, and the exploitation of the minority grievance as a vehicle for controlling speech. This was the rise of the woke movement to the halls of government. Oh my God. And under Biden, it was just crazy, man. I mean, I'm talking about people that had no business in these positions was in positions and things was crumbling and falling apart. I mean, crazy. I mean, look no further than the Obama library. It's a dystopian. It looks like a dystopian type of building that's falling apart. They're suing because they don't have the right people in there because Obama said he wanted to hire only black people, which first off is illegal, but he wanted to hire only black companies to pour concrete and stuff like that. And then they go in and they don't do it right and stuff is not getting done and all this other things and people are suing and all this other stuff just so you can be woke. Just so you can be DEI and stuff is not done the right way. Instead of just going in and hiring the best person for the job. If they happen to be black, then that's awesome. If they happen to be, purple, whatever, you want to hire the best person for the job or the stuff is not going to get done right. This woke stuff doesn't work. Look at Hollywood. Look at all their films that's falling apart. No one is watching this woke stuff. And then when nobody watches it, they wonder why. They're like, oh my gosh, we don't understand. Like, why are the people not watching it? Why people don't like the new Superman? Like, why is people not watching the new Marvel stuff? It's because people are tired of the same woke stuff. Bring back things that people really care about. Bring back traditional stuff. Bring back family things. But anyway, I digress. The root of their power was not marital. In fact, the political left is weak and largely astroturf with minimal ability to project power in a physical way. If conservatives wanted to destroy them tomorrow, the task would be relatively easy. We don't, because many of us still have hope that our problems can be solved through peaceful discourse. What the leftists did have at their disposal was a massive institutional apparatus of government agencies, corporations, big tech, and NGOs. The full might of the establishment cabal was on their side, which meant that they had the means to enforce cancel culture and silence their ideological opponents. And I have proof of all of that. Check out my my Twitter playlist, my Twitter Files playlist. I think it's called Twitter Files, where I got tons and tons of videos on all that stuff. I don't think there has ever been a psychological war on a population that was more pervasive and tyrannical. Not since Mao's Cultural Revolution in China has citizenry been under such a siege by their own government. The fact that we survived this event, defeated the onslaught, and actually grew a grassroots anti-woke movement without the use of social media forums is truly mind-blowing. Very few people today realize the level of victory that was achieved. We thwarted perhaps the largest fourth generation mind war ever devised, and we did it without any institutional access. That's true. We won by simple truth and word of mouth, and memes too. People underestimate the power of memes, because you look at a meme and it really like have you thinking about something. It really have you thinking outside of the box. People underestimate the power of memes. Another tool that the leftists and globalists used was the mobilization of illegal migrants, gays, and minorities as a shield against criticism or counter-protest. If conservatives or moderates fought back with superior debate or our own protest groups, we were immediately accused of racism, xenophobia, and homophobia. They still do that. They're still using that. But it lost its thing. Like, people no longer listen to that. When you call someone a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, it like lost all its power because they call everyone that, right? Anyone that disagree with them, you call one of those things. Merely presenting an opposing view to the progressive machine was considered an act of evil. Large contingents within all of these groups were happy to go along with the agenda for numerous reasons. First and foremost, DEI allowed them to easily game the system. It was a grift. DEI is a huge grift. They could snatch up grants, subsidies, welfare, and leapfrog over more talented, more intelligent competitors in education and business simply because of their marginalized status, so-called marginalized status. Secondly, the system under progressives was two-tier. Leftists, activists, illegals, and minorities were given preferential protection while breaking the law and causing chaos. Conservatives were labeled terrorists for any act of defiance. We were banned from the largest web platforms. Don't forget the banks. Banks were debanking people and stuff. Some of us were targeted by the online mob and lost our jobs. Others were debanked, though. They do talk about the bank good, and threatened with ostracism from the economy. Still, others were imprisoned. Remember grandma who prayed on the sidewalk? She literally was on the sidewalk praying for the murdered babies. And the federal government, Biden and them, came and grabbed grandma and locked her up, man, for praying. This imbalance of the law bred a culture of entitlement, especially within the LGBT cult and the Black community. Illegal aliens were given carte blanche to enter the country and feed like parasites. Not only that, but they were treated like heroes coming to save us from population decline and labor shortages. But weren't they also telling us that the world is too populated too, right? At the same time? They all participated in the game willfully and joyfully. They were all part of the problem. But of course, none of them ever thought the party would end or that they might end up facing consequences for their behavior. They joined in the feeding frenzy without considering the inevitable clapback. The primary argument that leftists would often use to defend the application of cancel culture was that there was no such thing as cancel culture. Wasn't that what I was alluding to? They say it didn't exist. That's what they were saying. You're allowed to say whatever you want and stuff. There's no such thing as cancel culture. Only the righteous utilization of consequence culture. This was, of course, a misdirection. The word consequence suggests that a person deserves punishment for wrongdoing and that the leftists canceling him or her have the right to do so. Right. Consequences mean it's a punishment for doing something wrong. That's true. Yeah. Cancel culture was never about justice or karma. It was about suppression of anyone who disagreed with the political left. The corrupt group of psychopathic people with no other support from the majority is in no position to dole out consequences. They can dole out harassment and intimidation, but not justice. In recent months, however, I think people are finally beginning to understand what consequence culture really is, and clearly they don't like it. I touched on this issue when it come to Hollywood and liberal entertainment media in my article, Conservative Creators Don't Let the Liberal Entertainment Crisis Go to Waste. But I want to expand on the idea of payback for the political left and what it will mean going forward. For example, I have to admit I can't help but laugh over the Stephen Colbert controversy and leftists crying about violation of free speech. We all know what's going on with Colbert, man. Hit $40 million. They losing $40 million a year on this show. So they're not making any money. Why would you keep the show around? It's obvious. It's economic is why they got rid of the show. It has nothing to do with nothing to do with them having to pay money to Trump for a lawsuit. But keep in mind that a multitude of journalists and celebrities were fired, banned from public platforms, and silenced for not going along with the establishment narratives on COVID, open borders, the 2020 election outcome, January 6th, etc. Facts. Leftists celebrated when Fox was pressured to fire the biggest name, Tucker Carlson, over his skepticism of the 2020 election and the insurrection claims surrounding J6. Carlson was mostly correct in his positions, but that didn't matter. The progressive view, it's a private company. They can fire whoever they want. Now they are raging over Stephen Colbert getting the boot for losing his time slot. It's a sign that most leftist late night hosts are facing the chopping block. Never mind that the guy's show was bleeding around $40 million. That's what I was just alluding to. $40 million per year, and his audience is in the coveted 18 to 34 age range was shrinking into oblivion. Never mind that Colbert was acting as a shameless shill for Big Pharma. Remember that vaccination video when he was dancing around and singing? That was ridiculous. Man, I mean, that was so cringeworthy. Liberals demand that his show remain in place. They demand that he never face consequences for selling out and acting as a propagandist instead of a comedian. Too bad. He's toast. And there's nothing you could do about it. Welcome to real consequence culture. Within the Black community, there's another form of accountability taking place. The BLM movement, basked in their privileged status, rampaging through cities and doing as they pleased under the protective hand of democratic governments. In the process, they destroyed whatever social capital they had left and ended decades of white guilt in a span of a few years. And remember, they took in millions upon millions of dollars and built absolutely nothing. And now, white conservatives and moderates just don't care anymore. We don't care about being called racist. We're not interested in the supposed trespasses of previous generations. We're never going to pay reparations. You're never going to see a dime. We're not going to tolerate ghetto behavior in shared public spaces any longer. I agree. Like that stuff that's happening on those cruise ships was ridiculous. The term black fatigue has gone viral in the past month for a reason. White people are done with passively accepting bad. It's not only white people, bruh. It's not only white people. Black people are tired of this ghetto behavior as well. I mean, I don't. It's ridiculous. All right, but y'all get the point of that. Let's see. Let's go. Let's find something else to go over really quick. Let's see what we got here. I do have a clip from Tom Homan, but it's kind of long with Stephen A. Smith. He breaks it down. So maybe I'll do a separate video on that. Let's see what else we got here. Here we go. Oh yeah, Molly Hemingway. Let's check this out. All right, let's check out this. Another Gateway Pundit. Gateway Pundit were on fire tonight, man. They had a lot of good articles today. All right. All right. Molly Hemingway said media not reporting new Russiagate developments because they were complicit in original crime. Yeah. I mean, think about it. New York Times, Washington Post, they received Pulitzer Prizes for their stories on the fake Russiagate scandal. Like, they received Nobel. They should give them back, man. They really should give them back. But Molly Hemingway of The Federalist recently appeared on Fox News and suggested that the liberal media is not reporting the explosive news, the new details. They say new. It's not new. This is stuff that I've been saying over the years, but I guess new to the regular public. Details about the Russia collusion hoax because they were complicit in the original crime in 2016. This is exactly right. During Trump's first term, liberal outlets would eagerly repeat any detail that was leaked to them, no matter how outrageous the claims. Now that Tulsi Gabbard is revealing details that directly implicate former President Obama and others, the same outlets are strangely uninterested. It's so clear what is going on here. Let's get to the clip. Here we go.
Well, what happened when you go back to 2016 is the Obama administration hid intelligence showing that Russia's meddling in the 2016 election was no big deal. They suppressed that because they didn't want Donald Trump to know about it. Then they immediately began leaking to the Washington Post and to the New York Times false things that weren't true, the opposite, that Russia had conspired with Trump to steal the election. And the Washington Post and New York Times, when they were asked to publish these things that were not true, they just went ahead and did it. They took the word of John Brennan and other sources like that who had made these false claims. Then the Obama administration manufactures a completely fake intelligence assessment, again with this claim that Russia had conspired with Trump to steal the election, and they leaked that to the media as well. Well, when they were receiving these leaks, the media did whatever these people wanted. They pushed this absolutely delusional conspiracy theory for years. And now that we know that, and it was a fake story, now that we know the real story, and the real story is shocking, the Obama administration suppressed real intelligence, and then they manufactured fake intelligence for the purpose of undermining a legitimately elected administration. The media are hiding it. And why? Because they were complicit in the crimes that were committed. They can't very well report what actually happened because the whole conspiracy would have gone nowhere if the media hadn't been so willing to just republish these lies from Obama officials.
Facts, facts, facts. Willingly. They didn't question it. They didn't ask for like 2 or 3 witnesses. Whatever came out of from the intelligence community, from the Obama administration, they took and they reported on that junk as absolute fact. The vast majority of the American media functions as nothing more than an arm of the Democrat Party, and it has never been more obvious. In your face, blatant. In your face, blatant. All right. Let's check out another video here. This one from Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews. He said, I don't buy negative polls about Donald Trump, says Chris Matthews. And wow, this is amazing coming from him. He's woken up, I guess, to the fact that the polls always underrepresent Trump. Always, 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 always. It's always underrepresent Trump. I don't know why. Well, why did I say that? We know why. We know why they underrep. They try to spin a narrative. They try to spin that narrative that Trump is not popular. They do it every time. That's why they he always underperformed. But the Gateway Pundit reports Chris Matthews is the former MSNBC host who famously said that Obama gave him a thrill up his leg. I remember that. He is a notoriously liberal Democrat supporting media figure. There was so many memes from that. People were showing that clip. It was hilarious. But during a recent conversation with Charlie Rose, another famously liberal journalist, Matthews cast doubt on negative polling about President Trump, saying, I don't buy that. Everything Matthews says in the clip below flies in the face of his entire tenure at MSNBC. It's really something to behold. Here we go.
To be honest with you, the country is moving towards Trump. I mean, these polls that come out and show him not doing well, I don't buy that. I think his strength is still greater than the Democratic strength. He is a stronger public figure than the Democratic people. I mean, Obama still has tremendous charisma, but Trump has strength. And I think that's what all voters look for. But they wanted a president who is a strong figure. And he's got it. And he can, it's just there. And half the country buys it. That's what I think.
Well, I don't think he's wrong. I think we got another clip here too. In another clip, the same interview highlighted by Cohen, Matthews says, we have never had a president so instantly spontaneous. Let's just get to the clip. I'm not going to read it. Let's just get to the clip. Here we go.
We have never had a president so instantly spontaneous that he knows this minute, if he gets to at 4 o'clock this afternoon, he will say, that's not really true anymore. He will know the mood of the country. He once, and I had to talk with him about Zoolander movie, the Ben Stiller movie. And he said, Zoolander 1, good timing. Zoolander 2 didn't work. I mean, he's instantaneous. He knew how to put down Jeb Bush, put down Barry, all these guys.
His Secretary of State, he put down at the time.
Yeah, that's right. He's very good at knowing your condition, your worries, your insecurities. I mean, he'd be a great bully on a grade school, Catholic high school or grade school. I mean, he'd be the scariest bully because he'd know everybody's weakness. But he's really good at the moment. I mean, he's out there watching television.
Trump is very, very, very quick-witted, man. I would love to run the dozens with Donald Trump, man. I will fire him up, and I'm sure he will fire me up too. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, that means, talking trash, talking smack, your mama this, your mama that, you fat this, you fat that, and stuff like that. Telling jokes, cracking on each other. This is something we're used to. We grew up in the hood. This is how we talk to our family, or joke with our family and play like that. We talk smack. And Trump is really quick-witted and really good at that. That's what he's saying here.
Keeping up, and is this the right thing to do? What am I going to do right now? Biden couldn't do that in a million years. Not in a million years. Mondale couldn't do that. They don't have the connection to the electricity of what's going on in the country culturally, and he knows what works.
Could you imagine firing up Joe Biden? Do you think Joe Biden has the mental capacity to run the dozens with somebody, to fire him up, to crack on somebody? No, of course not, man. That dude, he can barely make it from point A to point B. It's Biden definitely couldn't do that. But who is this person, and what has he done with Chris Matthews, right? Because Chris Matthews is actually making some sense, right? All right. Let's see if there are any other videos here. What? Let me see. Let me pull up. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. Let's check this one out. MSNBC Jonathan Lemire calls Russia documents a conspiracy theory. Are you serious?
You're right. There's nothing new here. The DNI, who is doing President Trump's bidding, it would appear, trying to also get back in his good graces after had a falling out over the strike in Iran, and she was sort of left on the outside of that, is now carrying water here of these unfounded conspiracy theories about what role Obama and his team did in 2016. Trump claims they lied about Russia's influence in the election. That's not true. We know that Russia manipulated, with social media. And we know Russia was part of the hack into Hillary Clinton's emails in that campaign. We know Russia.
Oh, we
don't.
No. No. We don't know that. CrowdStrike said that Russia did it. The FBI never actually looked in and looked at the servers. So we don't know that. And then come to find out, it might not have been Russia that did that from the metadata. See, this is what happened when these people don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Influence the vote. They didn't actually go in and change the tally in the electronic ballot boxes, and that's what Trump's referring to here. But it's widely included and signed by Marco Rubio, who, Mike, let's remember, is the Secretary of State under President Trump. He also has 3 other interim jobs, thanks. So that shows you this was a bipartisan conclusion. And what was happening here, it must be said, this is President Trump trying to distract. We have seen for 4 days a flailing effort to try to turn the conflict of conversation away from the Jeffrey Epstein matter, and this is what he settled on. It's 2016 all over again.
I mean, just patently false, man. Patently false, everything he stated. Like, this was wild. Wow. Let's see. Let's check this one out. The media on Trump-Russia collusion. Obsessed back then, AWOL now. Nah. Let's see. Yeah, let's check it out.
Welcome to Rob Schmidt tonight. For nearly 3 years, the American media neurotically over-covered Trump-Russia collusion. They simply could not get enough of a story that would explain away what they found to be inexplicable. How the hell did Donald Trump win that election in 2016? The media's obsession with the allegation that Trump and Russia colluded to steal 2016 was endless. In fact, in the 5 weeks after Special Counsel Robert Mueller was appointed to investigate Trump-Russia collusion, the 3 major broadcast networks devoted around half to 60% of their shows to this story. They couldn't get enough of it. Any new detail, even the smallest minutia, the whole story had to be told all over again and take up half the show. On CNN and MSNBC, cable, the story ate up nearly 1/3 of the coverage over the span of nearly 3 years. Think about that. Thousands and thousands of hours talking about Trump-Russia collusion.
Russia attacked our democracy. It was an act of war by a hostile foreign power.
Russia did interfere with our election, and the president couldn't bring himself to say a word about that.
All of these intelligence experts saying Russia hacked the election.
There is now strong consensus on the scope, nature, and intent of Russia's interference.
We do know this. The Russians offered help. The campaign accepted help. The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help.
Shifty. We wanted to take you back to just remind you how exaggerated the coverage was of this story, to illustrate just how ridiculous yesterday was, when the director of national intelligence, a former Democrat, spoke at the White House and gave an explosive update on the most covered story of the past decade, Trump-Russia collusion. After nearly 3 years of nonstop coverage, the media, of course, would erupt when Tulsi Gabbard revealed a formerly classified report that documented evidence showing an incredible twist in this saga, right? That the Russians clearly were not favoring Trump. Tulsi indicating the Russians actually concealed the worst dirt that they had on Hillary Clinton, assuming that she was going to win the election. They would just dump it after she got into the White House, because they were not trying to install Donald Trump.
The intelligence community assessment did not cite any report where Putin indicated helping Trump win was an objective. The opposite is true. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. The information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts, like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency.
Wow.
Just examples of the dirt that the Russians did not reveal before that election. This incredible update to the years-long Russia collusion story, you would think, because any update got so much coverage before, would explode. It did not.
Nope.
It was met with crickets from even the broadcast networks that still try to claim that they're doing news. You know, you get it at MS and CNN, right? But ABC, NBC, CBS, ABC and NBC didn't even cover this yesterday. Dead serious. No coverage on their nightly shows. CBS gave it 24 seconds of a 23-minute show, and they were mocking it during those 24 seconds. Ignoring the story as it damages the Obama deep state after devoting endless coverage to it when the details damaged President Trump.
Wild. All right. Let's see what else is going on around the interweb here. Bovar, Waco, Epstein, and Washington War on Truth. Wow. Retailers accused of racism as they flee black neighborhoods in Milwaukee. I mean, the obvious thing is, these places, these businesses are not going to want to do businesses in areas that aren't safe. As simple as that. I mean, it has nothing to do with race. It has to do everything with safety. If you're a place where people go and steal a lot, where it's a high crime area, why would a business want to be there? 5 crucial facts from the House Intel report on the 2016 Russia interference. 5 keys to know about Trump admin settlement with Colombia. These are the world's fastest growing jobs. 2026 health insurance premiums could see largest hike in 5 years. Hold on, I thought Obamacare was supposed to make healthcare prices go down. Remember that promise? Peak population. When will it hit the world's 40 largest countries? Let's see. Daily Mail. Congresswoman Lauren Boeber's son, Tyler, charged with child abuse over incident with her grandson. Wow. Tulsi Gabbard unleashes fury at Obama over his failure to squash treasonous Russian conspiracy. My boyfriend was a CIA agent. He paid the rent for my luxury penthouse and gave me a bank account loaded with $250,000 for emergencies. Wow. Selena Gomez reveals her unconventional, I don't care about that, about her wedding. Marco Rubio deflects question about running for president, then reveals who would be a great nominee. Kylie Jenner and family head to iconic. Okay. John Wayne, outrageous antics. Housing market will continue to crumble this year. Army cadet 22 tragically dies during summer training camp at Fort Knox. Wow. Thousands of Americans' personal data is stolen in huge Alizane's life data heist. Wow. Let's see. Women dating advice app T victim of major data breach, exposing over 70,000 photos. I'm not. I mean, everybody's probably heard about that now. That whole T app thing. The thing is, it was. They keep saying hacked. It was hacked, but it really wasn't hacked. It was a wide open URL. It was a URL. If you had the URL, you could go in and look at all that stuff. It's crazy. American airline passengers caught on camera evacuating smoky planes on Denver tarmac. Let's see. Study shows that California $20 minimum wage. I did a report on that already a few days ago. What else we got going on? Bystanders, armed citizens confront Traverse City Walmart mass stabbing suspect in dramatic moment. Trump blasts Camilla and the celebrities. We already talked about that today in this stream. Former Dem operative lays bare the party's problems in scathing review. Okay. Interesting. Well, I think that's all for today, y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Hit that like. Also, check me out on Patreon where I talk about things